Hey all, this is for the Capricorn Divine Masculine. I left off with the Divine Feminine on Friday, then had no internet all weekend, because that's kind of how Spirit likes to work. But I'm going to pick up where I left off and see kind of where this takes us. I am still going to continue separating the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine for now. Just because even though we're getting closer to inner union, our physical paths are very different. So I just thought I'd change it up a little bit. I'm always open to feedback. So if you prefer the old way, if you prefer this way, it's completely up to you. I'm here to serve the collective. So I want to make sure that the people watching are at least getting something out of this, or at least feeling into it. Even those of you that I trigger very deeply emotionally, trigger you into hopefully a healing phase. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the stuff that you need. I am letting the universe guide me, our higher selves guide me. But as it stands, there's still the human factor that we need to take into consideration of what we need as humans. Okay, so we're going to get right into this. It is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Some of it might be for you, some of it might be for someone else. So just take what resonates. If you feel it here, it's resonating. If you're trying to fit it into your life or you can't figure out how it fits, it may not be for you, and that's okay. You can find me on Patron and on Instagram at Candy Wishman. The information's in the description box below. Let's get started. I think that's a big enough spiel, but I try to make this really quick too, because I don't feel like I don't want people to have to sit and listen to me talk for hours on end, so I hope that's okay too. And maybe I'll do a poll. I don't know. We'll see what we get. Okay. All right. The current energy between the two of you. Interesting. We have cornucopia. So cornucopia is a very interesting card, and I'm just going to point out we have the all tied up card at the bottom with a 5, a 2 + 3 = 5, which is freedom through change. So changing things to create freedom for yourself. The cornucopia is an interesting energy because it's an 11. Well, it's a 2, but it always shows up as an 11 because they're Roman numbers. And to me, this is intuitively understanding that there's something beyond your sight. Your cornucopia is there. You just don't have access to it yet, or you have to access it intuitively. Very interesting energy. So I feel masculine, even though I feel like you're becoming more and more awake, but I feel like you just know in your gut that there is something more here, even though you can't see it. But it depends on kind of where you're at. So I kind of want to see, how do I want to do this? I want to see kind of how the connection is affecting you. And then we'll kind of talk a little bit more about what is going on with your feminine energy. And like what's going on with the divine feminine in this connection. And then we'll get into the extended reading stuff. We're not going to touch too much on yours. Whoever your feminine is, if whatever sign she is, you might want to check the divine feminine for that sign. That might tell you more about where she's at. It's kind of a different way of going about things, but also know, and this, I'm not trying to be confusing, but also know that the energy is interchangeable. So while I am speaking to you about this journey and speaking to you about your feminine, some of the things that are happening with your feminine could also be happening with you. All right. So how are you being affected by this connection right now? Wow. We've got the Death card. Okay, so death and rebirth. And then we have new beginnings right on the bottom. Look at that. And then, yeah. And then we see the Queen of Pentacles. So I just feel like you're really stepping into your power. But in this essence, I feel like you're being very deeply affected by your environment. When the Queen of Pentacles comes up for me, I hear beautifying your surroundings, which tells me maybe your surroundings aren't as healthy as they could be. If you are stuck in quarantine or self-isolation with somebody or people that you need to do healing and work with, it's going to be a very trying time for you. There's going to be a major cycle of things coming to an end because you have to deal with those things. You can't avoid those things being in their presence all the time. but it's pushing you. There's this major energy pushing you towards change and freedom. Okay, we have the Fool here, which tells me you want a new beginning. You want to start out fresh and new, but you know that in order to lighten the load, so to speak, and move forward, that you have to tie up your loose ends. Okay. All right, so let's kind of see what's going on with your feminine energy here. What is going on with your feminine energy? Let's get a couple cards representing your feminine first. If her sign comes up, awesome. If not, don't take that too much to heart. Okay, so we have the Sun here. Okay. I heard she's like a ray of sunlight to you. Very interesting. But she could have Leo, strong Leo in her chart. She could be a fire sign because of the correlation to Leo. Wow, we have the Lovers. So she could have Gemini in her chart as well. Strong Gemini. A choice between lovers. But it's divine union. So I feel like it's very interesting because we have the Chariot on the bottom, which is fast-moving energy. But this is also Cancer energy. But I feel like there's a choice. And not for your feminine. I feel like this is how you're kind of viewing your feminine, or what's the energy behind. Some of you have gained a lot of clarity in regards to your feminine, but there's a difficulty in making a choice here, making a choice to move towards that feminine. And I feel like, honestly, that's okay. And I'll tell you why, because you don't want to move from one situation to another. You want to move into your own independence and freedom. And so then when you choose your feminine, you're going to choose her authentically, and not because you need her, but because you want her. So I feel like you don't want to hurt anyone, and you certainly don't want to feel like your feminine isn't a choice, because she is. But I feel like in this moment, you have to choose yourself. And I think you're kind of gaining clarity around that. So what is on your feminine's mind right now? What's on your feminine's mind? Yeah, we've got the Queen of Cups. Okay, so being in flow with emotions. Some of them are really tapping into their own intuitive psychic gifts. Being in flow with energy, learning more about energy, using their awakened gifts or their awakening to heal others. I feel like your feminine is a healer. Also very emotionally aware. Not to say that she's not emotionally reactive. And again, there's no gender here. I just need to say that out loud. It's just the feminine energy, the masculine energy. That's the she and the he, but it doesn't mean physical gender. But very emotionally. It doesn't mean she doesn't emotionally react to things, or she hasn't mastered her emotions yet, but she's very aware of those emotional triggers, and she's working through them. All right, what is she feeling in her emotions? Wow. Yeah, the Ten of Swords. Okay. A little bit beaten down. A little bit beaten down by the should or would or could or have to energies. Like, I really should be doing this. I really, I have to do this, or I need to do this. There's an exhaustion there, but that's just ego. So it's happening so that she can be aware of this and take her power back. And in doing so, you also will take your power back, because you guys mirror and you feed off of each other. You could also be experiencing the same ego death and recognizing that you don't have to do or be any way in order to have what is yours and what you are deserving of. All right, what is she dealing with in the physical? Yeah, decision making. But I feel for her, it's more about decisions around what she wants to do with herself. She's already made up her mind when it comes to you. She went back and forth with that over the past few months, and she's made up her mind about that. And now she's focusing on herself and what purpose she wants to bring to the table. Like, what does she want to do with herself? How does she want to heal people? How can she fill her own cup? How can she make her own money? She's very physically oriented, which is great, because that means the masculine energy in her is balancing. And when there's balance, there's openness to union. All right, how is she viewing you and the connection right now? Okay, so we have the King of Swords. Somebody is stuck in their head. Okay, this is also Capricorn Aquarius energy, so I feel that that's very fitting that it shows up here for you. But this is somebody who has to stand in their truth and can seem harsh at times and can seem cold at times towards them, but I feel like they see you as someone who understands they need to bear those burdens alone and may push anyone else away that's trying to help them with that process. Okay, very interesting. And then we have at the bottom, we have some emotional confusion, but I feel like that's bound to just happen as she goes through her own emotions and allows her own emotions to grow and to heal. But this is a really good energy for the both of you. Like, she's completed this phase in this transformation around the connection, and now she's moved into her own transformation and phase around self. And masculine, this is where you're at. You're in this space of transforming yourself or transforming the connection and what it means to you. And then your next phase is to focus on self. So I feel like, you know, the feminine energy is just a little bit ahead of the masculine, but you're both moving toward each other, which is really all that matters. In the extended version, we talk about hidden factors that can't be seen, the energetic stuff happening behind the scenes, how the universe is supporting that kind of stuff, blockages being removed, lessons being learned, how your feminine wants to move forward with you, guidance on what you can do right now to help yourself, and of course a message from your feminine's higher self to you. I hope that this has helped. The information to get the extended version is in the description box below. Be your peace, love yourself, share your light, and have an amazing day, Capricorn.